Welcome to Dear Fans. In a courtroom drama that left many stunned, a judge delivered a strong message to an unruly sovereign citizen who repeatedly disrupted proceedings with outlandish legal theories and blatant disrespect. The incident, which has since gone viral, highlights the growing challenge courts face in handling individuals who reject established legal authority. The Courtroom Showdown. The case began like any other, with a routine hearing scheduled before a seasoned judge known for his fair but firm approach. However, it quickly became apparent that this would be anything but an ordinary session. The defendant, identifying himself as a sovereign citizen, entered the courtroom with a defiant attitude, refusing to acknowledge the court's authority. From the outset, the defendant challenged the judge's jurisdiction, citing fringe legal arguments often associated with the sovereign citizen movement. These individuals believe they are not subject to the laws of the United States, asserting instead that they are independent entities beyond governmental control. While courts across the country have increasingly encountered such cases, this particular hearing took a dramatic turn due to the defendant's unrelenting behavior, disruptions, and contempt. As the judge attempted to proceed with the hearing, the defendant continuously interrupted, speaking over both the judge and the prosecution. Despite multiple warnings, he persisted in making disruptive claims, refusing to recognize the legal proceedings. The judge, exercising patience, tried to explain the legal process and offer the defendant an opportunity to present his case properly. However, the defendant remained defiant, ignoring all attempts at civility. Tensions escalated when the defendant refused to answer direct questions, instead launching into lengthy, irrelevant monologues about maritime law, constitutional loopholes, and other frequently debunked sovereign citizen theories. The judge, maintaining decorum, issued a warning that further disruptions would lead to contempt charges. Yet, the defendant only grew bolder, mocking the judge and challenging his legitimacy. First contempt charge: 30 days in jail. After multiple warnings, the judge finally lost patience and held the defendant in contempt of court, sentencing him to 30 days in jail. A hush fell over the courtroom as the reality of the punishment set in. The defendant, however, refused to back down. Instead of accepting the ruling, he launched into another tirade, arguing that the judge had no authority to detain him. The judge remained composed, reminding the defendant that his refusal to comply with courtroom procedures was a direct violation of legal protocol. Yet, rather than heeding the warning, the defendant continued his verbal assault, accusing the judge of treason and making baseless claims about his sovereign rights. Second contempt charge: another 30 days. The judge, visibly displeased but maintaining his judicial demeanor, warned the defendant once again that his behavior was unacceptable. But instead of acknowledging the gravity of the situation, the defendant doubled down on his antics, calling the entire court a fraudulent institution and demanding his immediate release. His loud, disruptive behavior not only prevented the hearing from proceeding but also created a chaotic atmosphere in the courtroom. With no other choice, the judge held the defendant in contempt a second time, adding another 30-day jail sentence to the initial punishment. The courtroom erupted in murmurs as observers realized that the defendant was digging himself into an even deeper hole. Yet, despite the harsh consequences, the defendant refused to relent. Third and final contempt charge: 90 days in total. Even after accumulating 2 contempt charges, the defendant persisted in his defiance. He slammed his hands on the defense table, continued shouting over the judge, and refused to sit down when instructed. At this point, the judge, who had already shown remarkable restraint, issued a third contempt charge, tacking on yet another 30-day jail sentence. With a total of 90 days in jail now looming over him, the defendant's bravado seemed to falter for a brief moment. However, rather than apologizing or attempting to de-escalate the situation, he continued making nonsensical legal arguments, insisting that he was immune from the law. The judge, having exhausted all avenues of patience, ordered courtroom officers to remove the defendant immediately. Security personnel swiftly intervened, escorting the shouting man out of the courtroom as the judge finalized the ruling. Legal analysts and attorneys who reviewed the case agreed that the judge acted appropriately given the circumstances. Sovereign citizens have long been a source of frustration for the legal system, often filing frivolous lawsuits and using pseudo-legal jargon to evade responsibility. Experts emphasize that while courts strive to respect individual rights, they must also uphold order and ensure that legal proceedings are not derailed by disruptive behavior. One attorney, speaking anonymously, noted that this case was an example of why judges must sometimes take firm action. These individuals often think they can outsmart the system with misinformation, the attorney said. But at the end of the day, the law is the law, and no amount of pseudo-legal rhetoric will change that. Another legal expert pointed out that sovereign citizens often misinterpret legal texts and court rulings to suit their narrative. They believe they have uncovered hidden legal loopholes that exempt them from jurisdiction, but these arguments have no standing in any legitimate court of law. Judges have heard these claims before and are well-equipped to handle them. Public reaction and social media buzz. The incident quickly gained traction on social media, with many praising the judge for his no-nonsense approach. Videos of the exchange circulated widely, sparking debates about the sovereign citizen movement and its impact on the judicial system. While some sympathized with the defendant's anti-government stance, the majority of viewers agreed that his behavior was inappropriate and that the judge's response was justified. Some commenters highlighted the irony of sovereign citizens using the court system to claim they are exempt from it. If they truly didn't recognize the government's authority, they wouldn't be in court trying to argue against it, one user wrote. Another remarked, "This judge deserves a medal for his patience. 3 warnings, 3 chances, and the guy still wouldn't stop. He got exactly what he deserved." The sovereign citizen movement has been a growing challenge for legal systems worldwide. Many adherents reject government authority, refuse to pay taxes, and attempt to bypass legal obligations using convoluted arguments. While the movement remains relatively small, its influence has led to numerous confrontations with law enforcement and judicial officers. Cases like this highlight the need for legal professionals to be well-versed in handling such individuals. Judges and attorneys must strike a balance between upholding the law and addressing these arguments in a manner that maintains court decorum. Some experts suggest that increased public awareness and legal education could help mitigate the influence of sovereign citizen ideology, preventing future courtroom disruptions. In the end, this case serves as a stark reminder that courts will not tolerate blatant disregard for legal authority. The judge's firm response sent a clear message: no one is above the law, and disruptive tactics will not be rewarded. While sovereign citizens may continue to challenge legal norms, the justice system remains steadfast in ensuring that all individuals, regardless of personal beliefs, are held accountable under the law. For the defendant in this case, what began as an attempt to assert independence from government authority ended in a 90-day jail sentence, a sobering lesson in the reality of courtroom conduct. Like this video and subscribe this channel. Thank you.